So I'm here with Greg Seevers, and it's great to meet you finally at last. So,
Yeah.
And as you know, one of the things we've been talking about that we're very actively involved in is trying to get rid of unilateral, no-fault divorce. We've talked about the instability that divorce brings to society. This last weekend, once again, we've seen mass shooters, and basically, if you look at the mass shootings, they're almost always done by boys who have come from a fatherless home. Divorce becomes a societal issue. Now, you came from a Christian family, is that right?
That is correct.
And you were homeschooled?
Yes.
God-fearing person?
Yes.
So basically, in your heart, divorce was nothing that you ever wanted.
No.
And it was something that, I know that a lot of people have reasons that they say divorce is allowable, and that's what you felt that you were involved in, is that correct?
Correct.
So,
I know I was no longer able to trust her.
well, okay, yeah, that's discreet enough that we can leave it at that. So what happened after the entire divorce was finalized?
Well, the divorce took 2.5 years.
Okay.
They just strung it out.
So when you say they, the attorneys?
I suppose the court and the attorneys. It's even now it's hard to look back and see what was actually going on.
Yeah.
I mean, false accusations were coming out of the woodworks. She was claiming he had seizures. He never had a seizure. I was later able to confirm that.
Who was he?
I'm sorry, our son.
Okay, so how many children did you have?
One child.
Okay, and is he with you right now? Or
Yes, I have custody.
Okay, okay.
After I've spent $160,000 in climbing and attorney's fees only since the divorce has been finalized.
Oh boy, so how much did it cost prior to that?
$250,000.
So $250,000 plus another $160,000. Are those just your costs?
Oh no, I mean all total.
All together?
About $250,000.
Okay, so
I mean, I'm thinking PI bills, attorney's fees. That's a rough estimate.
okay, so are these just your sides of the bills, or did you have to pay for both sides, or how did that work out?
That's just my side.
So she had her whole set of bills as well then?
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, yeah. Do you feel like the system, the attorneys, basically strung it out to get money out of you?
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay.
Now, having said that,
yeah.
I have the attorney I have now
Mm-hmm.
is excellent.
Okay.
She has been with me since late summer of 2015.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
long time.
Okay.
She's very good. Her name is Tiffany Yates McWhorter.
Okay.
She works for Cordell and Cordell.
Okay.
And
The divorce firm for men.
yes,
Yeah.
and I mean she doesn't, it's a different deal. All the attorneys I had before,
Mm-hmm.
they work for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't have a financial interest in stringing this out.
Mm-hmm.
It's all the same to her.
Well, let me ask you a question then. So this, the Cordell and Cordell firm, they advertise themselves as being attorneys for men. Do they really do the job that they say that they claim to do? Do they really fight for men in a certain way? I mean, I hate to actually have, I would love to see reconciliation, of course.
In a system as broken as what we have is,
Mm-hmm.
they do a good job.
Okay. So
I mean, they have good attorneys, yes.
when you say broken, explain what you mean a little bit more.
The problem, now that I have a good attorney,
Mm-hmm.
a good law firm,
Mm-hmm.
It seems like the system as a whole, the civil court system,
Mm-hmm.
and the district attorneys
Mm-hmm. Well, that's,
and law enforcement are the real problem.
okay.
Because I've got a good attorney, and if she was sitting here right now, if you ask her, do you want this over, like yesterday, she would say, yes, I'm done with this case.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to string it out any further. In fact, I remember when I first hired her, we had been looking for my son for a few months, and she said, if this strings out another 3 months, Mr. Seevers, I'm going to go crazy. Well, that was years ago.
So it sounds then that your ex-wife kidnapped your son, in a sense, or did...
4 times.
Okay.
That's aside from any other time she just violated by either being late or not giving him back and then giving him back a couple days later. Never mind that. I'm talking absconded with him, didn't know where she lived. Judge allowed her to have him, 'cause even though we couldn't, it was just a theory. Her address was a theory.
Yeah.
Absconded with him 3 months, 4.5 months, another 3 months. One was 19 months.
So you talked about the police being part of the problem. How were they part of the problem?
Because they had ample opportunity to arrest her multiple times.
So you're talking about under 2503?
Yes.
Okay. And why don't you explain what 2503 of the Penal Code is?
2503, interference of child custody, is any time someone does not get the child back according to the court order, is a state jail felony.
Except that it's never prosecuted.
It's never prosecuted.
But if
And my case is particularly interesting because it's not like we were standing in her front yard and she was peeking through the door going, no, he can't come. No, she was missing. The U.S. Marshals were looking for her this last time. And the Grayson County District Attorney, Brett Smith, has not pressed charges.
well, that's pretty typical. But it is still...
But yes, it's typical, but in this situation, he issued a felony arrest warrant. Most of the time, they don't even issue arrest warrants so they can go, well, you know, that's, we're not going to do that. He issued a felony arrest warrant for a person that everybody knows is guilty and failed to prosecute her. That's even worse.
So you're saying that it's the law enforcement and the district attorneys as well that are corrupt?
Absolutely.
And would you go so far as to say the judges are as well?
Sure. Yeah.